This is Channel 25 WVTT Olean. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, this is the 6 o'clock report with Jeff Andrulonis and Alexa Olson. Listen on News Radio 96.7 WVTT or watch on News Channel 25 WVTT television. WVTT proudly presents the 6 o'clock report.
Good afternoon. I'm Alexa Olson. Jeff Andrulonis is off tonight. Topping the 6 o'clock report this evening, the question of whether or not to paint the Bartlett House Museum was decided last night after a lot of back and forth banter from the council. WVTT's Derek Smith reports.
You can't judge a book by its cover. And if you took a look on the outside of the Bartlett Museum, you would know exactly what I mean. The wood's rotting, the paint is peeling, there's trash in the yard, and the lawn is overgrown. But according to the director of the Bartlett House, David Deckman, there's more to this museum than just the exterior. For the first time, David Deckman let WVTT inside the house. And last night at the Olean Common Council meeting, he pled his case to the watchdogs of the taxpayers of Olean to paint the house, a renovation that could cost up to $85,000. The verdict? Despite the heat of the conversations, members agreed. Mayor Linda Witt said last night at the meeting, as the deed owners, it's our responsibility to preserve the piece of history that represents Olean.
We're the custodians of that property, and we're held accountable to, and in the contract or in the deed, it says we will keep this property in good condition. And we've actually been remiss in doing that. And as Mr. Deckman pointed out, it's been 9 years trying to get this repainted.
Derek Smith, Channel 25 in Olean, WVTT.
Talk of installing surveillance cameras in downtown Bradford is moving closer to becoming a reality with the help from one downtown business. The owner of the tattoo shop, Inferno Studio, has raised $1,000 so far towards camera installation. The Bradford Chamber of Commerce is spearheading the effort to have the cameras installed. A cruelty inspector for the Cattaraugus County SPCA was arrested Tuesday morning on a felony charge of criminal possession of a forged instrument. But why did it take 4 years to bring the charges to light? That's one of the questions surrounding that felony charge against 38-year-old Philip Barrett, who was allegedly in possession of a forged rabies vaccine certificate in March of 2008. Barrett, who is also a court security guard for the Olean Courthouse, had a court appearance in Hinsdale today. Chautauqua County Sheriff's deputies say a 51-year-old man was working on a logging trail around 7:30 p.m. off Angel Road in the town of Hanover when he was involved in a logging accident. Apparently, the bucket of the tractor he was driving hit a tree, causing a large piece of it to snap off and hit him. The victim's name is unknown at this point. He was flown by Starflight to ECMC. There was no word on his condition. Well, new tonight, in spite of strong testimony and the failure of state officials to provide any evidence of voter fraud by impersonation, the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania upheld the state's photo identification law passed earlier this year, meaning that voters would have to present a state-issued or state-sanctioned photo ID at the polls in order to be able to cast a ballot this November. The verdict could have a huge impact on this upcoming presidential race. This is the first time in recent months that voting rights groups have been unsuccessful in blocking the implementation of these laws. The president of the League of Women Voters, Elizabeth McNamara, said that they are disappointed that the Pennsylvania court has upheld this voter suppression law, adding that in other states, voter suppression laws have been deemed discriminatory. The American Lung Association released its latest lung health report, which examined smoking addictions in rural communities. It found that 88% of adult smokers report starting smoking before they were 18 years old, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. According to the American Lung Association, tobacco use is higher in rural communities than in suburban and urban communities, and smokeless tobacco use is shockingly twice as common. Yes, there are people in cow costumes at the New York State Capitol today. Citizens opposed to fracking were demonstrating and distributing literature outside of the Governor's Albany Yogurt Summit earlier this morning. The concerned citizens fear that Governor Cuomo's plan to open the New York fracking would threaten the yogurt industry developing in the state, pointing to recent studies showing that significant health effects on fracking contaminates our livestock. Meanwhile, it's not just the issue of fracking that might affect livestock. The drought of 2012 is the most serious to impact U.S. agriculture since 1988, giving livestock less to graze on. Today, Secretary Vislak has designated 1,670 counties across the U.S. as natural disaster areas due to severe drought. And former Pittsburgh Panthers standout goalie Maury Kephart has joined the St. Bonaventure women's soccer coaching staff. Head coach Manoj Khetri formally made the announcement today. Kephart, who has been working with the Bonnies for the last couple months, but before working with the Bonnies, she was a volunteer assistant coach at her alma mater, Pitt. So from all of us here at WVTT, we welcome her to Olean. Stay tuned for more of the 6 o'clock report coming up next on News Channel 25 WVTT.